First off, you can save 5% on your eShop credit, so you can save a bit more on all of these sale prices over at switchup.gg. You just get 5% in cash back whenever you buy it, and we get a tiny little kickback from Nintendo. Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp and to a midweek sales video where most of these prices are going to be 50 to 90% off, but I'm also going to put in 5 little hidden gems that aren't quite to that level, but I really do want to tell you a little bit about them because they're absolutely amazing. And there hasn't been a great deal of coverage. Let me know in the comments what games you'll be picking up in this midweek sale. Alright, what are the best games on sale? Well, let's find out. Let's begin then with Samurai Showdown. Now I didn't actually realise this one was on sale, and then I noticed on Switch Corner's sales video it was his front cover, like the thumbnail, and this is a cracking little game. Now it's down 85%, that's the cheapest it's ever been, and that sale goes on until November the 23rd. It's a series that's been around since '93. Glen would know significantly more than I do about this one, but it has a system built into it whereby the enemy players learn from your actions. Supposedly it was pretty revolutionary when it was released, and it also runs on the Unreal 4 engine, but actually manages to look okay. You've got offline 1 or 2 player modes, and you've got online up to 10 different players, and for this price, definitely worth considering. I didn't actually realise that Rec Room was available on the Switch, but it has released and it's completely free, even better. Thanks to Rec Room for sponsoring this episode. As well as that, it also features cross-play, but what actually is it? Basically, it's a community-driven game that features loads of community-created games. It doesn't require any kind of Nintendo Switch Online, which has been perfect for me and my kids, so we can team up and spend time trying out loads of different games. But there really is a mixture of everything. There was one there based on like Destiny 2. Someone had created a paintball map, which was a lot of fun. And there's even what we used to call Quasar here in the UK, but I think it's laser tag in America, and hundreds in between. One of them was like a ship sinking simulator, and you had to try and survive for as long as you could. And then there was another that was a restaurant that was being run by players, and I went in and they refused to serve me because of my moustache. It does feature full in-game voice chat as well if you want to use it, but you don't have to. It's available almost everywhere. You can get it on like all your phones, Android, iOS, Nintendo Switch, PS4, 5, Xbox, PC, Steam, all your VR platforms. And not only can you play other people's worlds, you can actually create your own ones. They're called rooms. It can be a game, but it doesn't have to be. It could be like a relaxing cafe, or like this Fight Club cafe that I found. And of course, you'll be customizing your own avatar, and it's pretty impressive what people can come up with. A perfect one for the kids and the big kids among us, and it's completely free. There'll be links in the description and the top pinned comments, so you can go check it out and tell them that we sent you. West of Loathing is one of the funniest games we've got on Switch. It looks, let's be honest, a little bit bare bones, but it's actually a full-on RPG/JRPG with turn-based combat. Ridiculous characters, very well written, very funny, and in the EU regions it does match or beat its cheapest ever price. And there are a couple of collectibles in here as well. You gotta go around and find all the different hats. There's a drunk horse, which I think instantly gives it a few extra percentage points in my book, and that sale goes on until November the 25th. My daughter's choice this week is Cattails Wildwood Story, which I have mentioned a couple of times. It was a sequel to the first Cattails game. It is Cattails and they're not cat tails. But this one's almost like a cat RPG, where you build up your own... Well, see, what's a group of cats called? Is it a litter? I'm gonna say a litter. Yeah, I'm not sure. Someone in the comments is going crazy. But you build up your own one of those, and then you actually can fight and meet up with other rival cats. There's little dungeons as well with puzzles in them, so that in those moments it feels a bit like Zelda. She has, I noticed on my Switch the other day, spent 80 hours in this game. So, you know, for 90% off, it's definitely worth it. She's got pretty decent taste these days. That sale goes on until November the 20th. Now, Silent Hope is a fully fledged RPG. It's 70% off at the moment, easily the cheapest that one's ever been, and it's an action RPG. It features 7 heroes with 7 unique fighting styles, and in a complete shock horror for RPGs, a storyline where a great evil approaches the land and you've got to fight it off. That was some sarcasm, by the way. It's not the best, like in terms of RPGs. I don't think it does anything particularly new, but it is decent and fits into a reasonable 1.8 gigs. You're looking at about 30 hours of story as well. That one goes on, as I say, 70% off, Silent Hope, until November the 20th. Taking me back to my youth, we've got Project Warlock, which just gives me massive Hexen vibes. You can see where games like Bolt Gun kind of took their artistic inspiration, but this is really good. Very difficult, I have to say, but it's absolutely rammed. There's about 60 levels in here as well, spanning all across various different places, including Egypt, medieval castles, graveyards. It's not just ranged weapons, you've got melee in here as well, firing blades and stuff. A solid first-person shooter, and around about 6 to 10 hours of gameplay, which isn't bad at all, is it, for this genre? That sale for Project Warlock, that goes on until December the 2nd in some regions. Pronty is a lovely little undersea Metroidvania. Has a bit of a interesting combat system that has you launching this javelin around. Almost feels like spearfishing. It's got a great art style, but it's the bosses that stood out to me. There are some cracking boss fights in here. I really do think this is a bit of a hidden gem, this one, for many people. And they also included a boss rush mode, so there is a little bit more replayability once credits have rolled. But what, I think it's like 8 hours long, 8 or 9, something like that. It's not too bad at all. Not too shabby. The download size is 2.6 gigs, and as for Pronty, that sale goes on until November the 22nd. Tiny Thor is another absolute banger. This one is down 50%, finally hitting the 50% mark actually in some regions, which marks its cheapest ever price. It's a 16-bit graphics, like a very difficult, kind of fast-paced platformer, where you've got your hammer Mjolnir. Sorry, whenever I say that I laugh because I know how badly the pronunciation is. And you can fire that hammer, you'll need it to kind of progress through those stages. It's very much a, it even says it in the blurb here, a handcrafted experience. It really does feel like they thought carefully about the way you have to progress through those stages. And they're not easy either. There are boss fights in there. You choose your next like not pathway, like your next level, I guess, on a larger map, and then there's also like a shop where you can upgrade your character a little bit. We were really impressed with this. It has those bonus stages as well that are like brutal challenges, kind of optional but also bragging rights. I won't tell you who won most of those out of us two. Might cause arguments. It wasn't me. You're looking at about 10 to 15 hours to finish as well, so it is a chunky little adventure. That's Tiny Thor, 50% off until November the 14th. If you loved Loco Roco back in the day, do you remember that one, Loco Roco? Well, you got The Big Journey on Switch. It's 80% off. That's matching its cheapest ever price. It's like £1 or something like that. Stupidly cheap. Really enjoyable. Very crisp visuals as well, this one, where you're exploring the world with Mr. Whiskers. There are 6 big worlds to work through. Very chill gameplay, and there are 30 different levels spread over those worlds. It's one of those where you can, although, you know, it does get a little bit more challenging as you move the entire world to move your rolling cat, you can also kind of chill while playing it. So yeah, very good one actually, from developer Constructors Entertainment and published by Hook Games. It still won't take you too long, probably like 3 or 4 hours max. You could skip your backlog entirely and just play it in an afternoon. The sale for The Big Journey, 80% off, goes on until December the 4th. Finally then, you've got Them's Fighting Herds, which might look like My Little Pony, but it actually features the artwork, I believe, from Lauren Forst, who is very famous indeed. But despite the way this looks, it's actually a really good fighting game. It has local 2-player as well as online matches, tutorials, training. You can unlock various different accessories, you can customize your character, and what it describes as a dynamic music system. I mean, that just sounds like marketing speak, David. If you get that reference, then you are awesome. But it's just a 3.7 gig download, very highly liked, and that sale for Them's Fighting Herds goes on until November the 17th. It's 75% off. So then I want to briefly mention 5 more games that are on sale. I want to mention them for different reasons, so they're not really linked to this sale. So, you know, the titles, like, these are generally 50 to 90% off sales, happy days. But I really do want to highlight a couple of more games that aren't at those same prices, but I just want to talk about them. So yeah, think of this as a bonus section. First up, you've got Beyond Galaxy Land, which we did a dedicated video of. It's 20% off. Really nice hybrid monster collecting RPG. Yeah, I think it is an RPG. We can call it that. That's got a 20% sale, as I say, till November the 25th. 25th, but yeah, really good. Sea of Stars is 33% off, but the thing with that one is they've just released the co-op DLC. So there's a whole big co-op DLC. They've changed a lot of the gameplay mechanics based on feedback from people that loved the game, like myself. So that's one to keep your eye on. You've got Stray, that comes out soon, and it has a 10% pre-launch discount. I loved Stray. Thought it was a cracking game. Really did enjoy it. Perhaps one just for the wish list for when our review inevitably comes out. Someone mentioned Thank Goodness You're Here on Sunday is 20% off as well. We don't have a review of that. I think Nintendo Life do and a few others, and they absolutely loved it, but I thought I'd stick that on here. And then finally you've got Arco, which is 20% off. If you did want a bit more information, we covered it in a interesting games video, so you can kind of learn a bit more. But basically, in its simplest form, when you move, the enemy moves. So you kind of have to work out where you can go and then do your shots. There's a lot of strategy to it, but it's a really nice style. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention those extra, 4 or 5 games, just to keep on your radar, because yeah, some of them aren't out yet and some of them are on their deepest sales. So that's it for this week. Let us know what you'll be picking up. Thanks to all of you that enjoy the content, and as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys. See ya!